Awesome. All right. So it's time for the final four. So we end every show with these four questions. These four questions are meant to challenge the streamer in a variety of different ways. Some of these we've probably covered, but we'll just kind of make a point to highlight or illustrate them here at the end. Yeah, I saw a comment here while time flows. Like, yeah, it's almost already
It
hour and
did.
20 into this. So, which
Yeah.
is all right. I don't care.
This is
So
great.
this is great. So first question, you ready?
Yes.
If you could go back and change one decision you've made in your streaming career, what would it be and why?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a damn good question. However, I I know what I would change. So when we were going full steam, grinding, this was back let's see, April 2019, around that time. I actually hit a lull. I plateaued, and I didn't stream for almost a damn month.
Really?
Yeah, I got kind of I don't want to call it depression. I mean, maybe it could have been a mix of depression in the sense of I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was giving enough back to the community and everybody who deserved 100% me. And I'm not saying I never wasn't 100%. However, I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like they deserved more. They needed more. And it affected me. I mean, I was doing the Apex. I was doing everything I'm doing now I was doing then, but it affected me to the point where I was like, shit, I don't think I made out for this. And I took almost 4 weeks off, and I had a lot of messages from a lot of members of the community saying, where are you? We hope you're okay. And I would definitely talk to them still, but it wasn't as frequent, and they were worried about me as much as I was worried about them. And I kind of like felt like I failed them at that time. Um until I snapped out of it and I was like, you know what? I love these people with all of my being, that it's time to man up and get back into it, and be
Yeah.
there, and we're gonna go out there and get this. So I would definitely change that. If I could have found that mindset that I ended up finding a little
Yeah.
earlier during that time, I mean,
Sure.
that would have been great. So that's definitely
Sure.
what I would have changed.
All right. Question number two. If you were to restart your stream tomorrow from scratch,
From
what's the
scratch.
first thing that you would do? So you got to wipe it clean.
Clean.
Nothing. We're back to
Not
John.
a
What's the
damn
first thing you
thing.
do?
Back to ugly ass Johnny. So we actually already hit on it, but I would go for the brand number one. The brand.
Yep. Okay.
That is a representation of you and what you want your community, your goal to be. That is you. It's your bat signal, right?
Yep.
They see that emblem and they're like, holy shit, that is Dadtality. We know you know what I mean? So
Yep.
build your brand, come up with your name, start thinking of your logo, because that's what people are going to see. It's like the
Yep.
title of a good book, right? You want it to look good, you want it to be unique. You don't want somebody to see it and be like, oh, that's Apple Skills 1-2. Cool.
Yep.
Okay. You want that flash, that pizzazz. So definitely from scratch, branding number one by
All
far.
right. Number three. If you had the power to change one thing about the streaming industry, what would that thing be?
Damn, that's a good one too. So
I take a lot of pride in my final four.
nah, these are great. Oh my god, this is a freaking brain teaser. So the one thing that I've really never cared for in the streaming community as a whole is the representation of, hey, that's a girl streamer, that's a guy streamer. Why does it have to be broken down like that? Why can't it just be, hey, that's a streamer, or that's a gamer? You know what I mean? Why
Mm-hmm.
does it got to be a girl gamer or a boy gamer? We're just gamers. We're just content creators, trying to make it. So why do we have to distinguish it? Because when you do that, then you're gonna get biases, right? All that stuff comes into play, and then people aren't gonna like this person because stupid shit. It just all bottles up. I just never really cared for being divided that way.
Yeah.
We're all gamers. We're all trying to be content creators out here, trying to make a name for ourselves, build communities and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah.
one thing that's always really kind of pissed me off. Like, who gives a shit if you're a girl and you stream? Who gives a shit if you're a guy and stream? You're just a
Right.
content creator. You're a streamer. You're a gamer. So,
Fair enough. Number 4, this is my personal favorite.
all right.
What do you think sets apart successful streamers from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
Whoo. Okay. Well, damn. So, I mean, to be successful, period, is you have to embrace the suck, as we say in the army.
Yeah.
You have to understand that when you decide that you want to become a content creator, that it takes time, it takes sacrifice, it literally takes effort, because you're competing against, this is not streaming from 2010 where it was brand new, it was fresh, there wasn't a lot. This is now a bigger pool with a lot of fucking fish.
Competitive.
So exactly, extremely competitive. So you have to be ready to hunker down and do what you have to do to make a name for yourself and be successful. And it's believe it or not, it's very intimidating because when you really sit there and you think about it and you're competing against a fellow content creators or whatever, it's intimidating, and it's very, you can become essentially, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, discouraged. There it is. Discouraged,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And you then kind of like what I hit. I kind of was like, well,
Yeah.
shit, I'm not good enough. Like I'm not entertaining enough. And you start really questioning yourself, and then you stop.
Yeah.
And then all that shit you were building, the wonderful networks that you were creating, the wonderful humans that you were meeting, and you just stop, finish, and you're gone. And they're kind of left there like, what the fuck? Like, I come to Dadtality stream to get away from my shitty day, but now he's not here. Now what do I do? And then that kind of forces them to go somewhere else. And then maybe that streamer that they're going to doesn't really appeal to them as much as a Dadtality did. So now they're kind of fucked up too. So there's a lot of runoff from that. So at the end of the day, it's what sets apart successful streamers from those who give up or fail and never started was their ambitions, their discipline to get to where they are, to work hard and make a name for themselves. Very regimented. So
completely separate, real quick topic here. Do you feel like you hit kind of like, you recognize when you kind of hit, Malcolm Gladwell calls it that tipping point. Like you got to push up the hill, and then you get over that hill, and then it really starts to snowball and you really start to pick up momentum. Did you ever have that or feel that kind of experience in terms of following or community building that you remember?
I do, yeah, and it actually kind of stems back from when I was kind of talking about earlier with being known as the sweathound or whatever. I was slowly making a name for myself.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I really started to put in a lot of time into networking and branching out and actually giving honest support to other content creators. Because it's not like hey, I'm going to jump into this guy's stream and be like, hey, dude, what's up, for a week and then never come back again. I was going there to a lot of content creators' streams, establishing relationships, building networks. I would support them. I still support them to this day because that's what I'm all about. And then it's funny because when they literally notice that, and then they give the love back. And then other content creators see that, and they're giving their love, and they're sharing their communities, and then it's going back and forth.
Yeah.
And,
I think that point that you shared in question 4 about like people just get discouraged, right?
Yes.
And that's the point, like you had to in April, where you have to find a way to kind of push through that or adapt if you need to, but keep going. Because the thing that you said that was so on point was you've already built all these networks. You've already built all these places that in relationships that you never know when the other side, like the peak of the mountain, and you're going to get over the other side. right? You'll know it when you get there,
Yep.
but so many people will just kind of stop pushing that snowball up the hill and never get it over the other side. And then things really start to take off. And that's true amongst all business industries, is there is that grind, right? But then eventually, the term is crossing the chasm, right? Eventually you cross the chasm and then it tips, right?
Exactly.
And then, you see the kind of the groundswell that you've seen. Yeah. Because I mean, if I had to bet, I would be willing to bet that the 500 followers that you gained after making 2000 and after getting partner, I bet the 500 followers that you gained probably came in, I don't know, 10% of the time that it took you to get your first 500. And that illustrates the point, right? It just goes when it goes, Yeah.
No, you're right. Absolutely. 100%.